Hello all. So today we'll be talking about how you can transfer your environment between tenants and Business Central SaaS. Now, this was a feature which was announced in the last release, which is BC 23, but there was a delay in the release of it. But now it's available for all BC SaaS customers. And then there was some comments about it that people wanted to know about it. So I thought, why not? Let's talk about it. I'll be very clear. I haven't tried it yet, but I've read about it on MSDN, and let's try doing it and see how it works. So, what does this feature mean? Now, with Business Central SaaS, you can transfer your environment between tenants, Microsoft tenants. For example, if you have multiple tenants and you want to consolidate all of them when business, let's say, being acquired or being merged to other business, you don't want to maintain two Business Central SaaS tenants. You can now actually do that. Or let's say when your partner prepares a demo environment for you, that then need to move to a customer tenant for customer to evaluate. So before this feature was available, this was even possible, but based on a support request sent to Microsoft support team. So let's understand what goes into it. So a environment transfer is initiated by an internal administrator in Business Central for the source tenant from where you are trying to transfer it and must be accepted by the internal administrator of the receiving or the destination tenant. As soon as the transfer starts, all the users in the source tenant will be disconnected from that environment and they'll not be able to access it, just that environment. There will be some post transfer setup in the environment once it reaches to the destination. So you kind of plan that as you go forward. So we have done a lot of talking. Let's get into it. But before we get started doing it, just a simple request that if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. That helps videos to reach to a wider audience, and it also helps us to understand how we are doing on that. So if you haven't, please do. Okay, so for the demo, what I've done is I have a source environment somewhere. Yes, let's say we'll pick this debug environment and we'll move it to a different tenant that I have here where there is no debug environment at this moment. So how it works, you log into your admin center as I'm already logged in, and in the navigation panel, you will see the environment transfer action on the top. Now, once you click on it, you will see an environment transfer window and it says, and I have to refresh this. Sorry for that. Let's wait for it. You need to select the transfer environment action as we were doing environment transfer. And then it says, use this feature to transfer your environment to other Microsoft Extra Entra tenant. Only internal administrator can transfer environments. So let's say transfer environments. Then here you need to choose which environment. So let's say we are trying to transfer the debug environment. Let's read here. Ensure that destination tenant has available environment quota. So let's quickly check that. So once you go into the destination tenant in the capacity, okay, I'll see here. So I still have two sandbox available that I can create. I'm only using one and I have two available. And I'm trying to transfer a sandbox. So I can do that. Now, what you need to do is specify the destination tenant ID. So let's copy it from here. Okay. Let's copy it from here. Let's paste it here. And then you can also schedule it. You don't have to run it now. You can schedule what time you want to run it. Now, these date and time settings are based on the user who is setting it up, his or her date and time setting of the local system. Like I am on IST, Indian Standard Time, so it is saying UTC plus 5:30. Even if the tenant is in US, it doesn't matter. It is looking the time that I'm in at this moment. So what you can do, you can even future date it if you want. So you can schedule the transfer to run at a specific date and time within 2 weeks. So you can schedule it 2 week into the future. So when you look at it, you are able to schedule it till 17th. Today is 3rd, and I can uh, kind of schedule it on till February 17th. And the time. If you don't want to specify date and time, transfer will run on the acceptance of the destination tenant. And this is what we have to do on the source side. So once you click transfer, at this point, let's see what happens. I haven't run it, as I said. So let me refresh this. Okay, the state seems okay. Let me try to access it. Can I still access it? Let's hope I can get into it. I'll refresh it here. It is still accessible, it seems. Yes, I can get into it. Okay, so that is from the source side, what you have to do. Okay, so once you are in the source side and you have done what you have done, you went into the navigation panel from the environment and chose environment transfer. Then you chose which or how many environments you would like to transfer. So you can do multiple environments at the same time if needed. But you need to keep in mind that the destination should have the available capacity for the tenants. Once you choose the environment, then you have to specify the destination tenant ID, and if needed, you can schedule it, which you can do it for next 2 weeks. So now you have sent it. Now what will happen on the destination side? Let's have a look on it. So I can go back into my destination at this point. Go back to my environments. And okay, the session seems expired. Let's refresh this and log in my production and sandbox. Now in your destination tenant, you will again click on, let me zoom this in, the environment transfer option. And here, this time we'll choose receive environment. Okay. And then you need to specify from where you are receiving it. So I'll have to go back here, pick my destination. Okay. And paste it here. And let's hit next. At this point, because we have initiated the transfer from the source, it understands that there is an incoming transfer request for an environment which is named as debug. The application family is Business Central. The schedule to run shortly after acceptance, and the destination environment name is debug. And once you accept it, after this will come here. So what do you have to do? To confirm this transfer, it has to be accepted on the destination within the 8 hour of creating the request. So if I've created a request in the source environment to send it, within the 8 hours of that time, I need to make sure that my destination accepts it. Otherwise, the request will be cancelled. So you need to make sure that the destination tenant also have one paid user license and sufficient quota available to receive the new environment. Again, an internal administrator can execute this. You follow the action where you click on environment transfer and then choose the receive environment and specify the tenant ID of the source environment. Then you will see which environments are coming in. If there are multiple, then you can choose which one you want to transfer, and then we'll just hit fully confirm. No? Why? Okay, confirm. So I'll click confirm and something is happening. So I'll place them side by side. Let me open the other one also, the source one, and I'll keep it side by side. Let's refresh this and let's also refresh this. So at this point, both are refreshing. Nothing is happening at this on the destination at this moment, and nothing is also happening here. It says it will start at any given moment. While this is happening, let's understand. If you have scheduled it into the future, and you're trying to access it right now, you might not see it. So remember that if you have scheduled it into the future, you'll have to wait for that time period where you go into your destination environment and accept the request. Let's click on it here and see do we have other environment. When I click on the source, the button environment transfer, it tells me that there is a pending outgoing transfer and I still have way to cancel the transfer. So till the point it have not been executed, I can still come here and cancel that transfer request. And that's easy enough to kind of accept it and send it back, right? So while this is happening, let's give it some time and we'll continue our discussion. So we did talk about the cancel, how you do that. Again, internal administrator can go to Business Central environment, admin center. In the source, choose your environment tab, click on transfer environment, and you will see the pending outgoing transfer. And you can choose which one you want to cancel if there are multiple, and then it'll be cancelled. So if you see it's gone here from here at this moment, and it's coming here. Okay, so it's coming here. So let's see what we have to do after the environment have been moved. So at this point, if we understand, this is a completely different tenant and this is a completely different tenant. At this point, I don't expect it to have the users, but let's have a look. What happens? When I try to log into this environment, I should not be surprised. It should let me in, even if my user is different. But I'm optimistic that your users from your previous environment will not come in into this because they are associated with the users in the tenant. So don't expect your users to kind of come forward. Okay, so let's see the data, everything looks good. Let's go to the actually to the users page and see what happens here. Okay, there are some users from the old one, which is surprising, and they still have permissions, which is again surprising because I'm pretty sure I don't have those kind of users in my environment here. Let me try sandbox. So I should not have all these users which I've created in my source environment. I don't expect them to be here, but they just kind of came as forward. But let's see here. So if I look into my actual environment in my destination, I only see an admin user, but here there are other users that has been created automatically, not automatically, which came from there. Let's have a look on to my job queues. Did my job queues are still there or they have been stopped? Oh, they all are unstopped. Only one is running and maybe they were stopped earlier. Okay, let me read through the documentation what it says so that we understand that part of it because that's important. The documentation says you might need to reconfigure your add-ins, external application settings after tenant migration, like Business Central Outlook add-in, Excel, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Dataverse, and everything that you might think of external integration. External integration will change because now new environment URL will have a new tenant ID. So make sure to keep that in mind. Now let's talk about things that we did talk about. Only internal administrator can send and accept a transfer request. The only time that you get after sending a request is 8 hours to accept the request. If no one at the destination accepts the request within 8 hours, it automatically gets cancelled. As per Microsoft documentation, the downtime to move the database or environment between the tenants will be approximately 30 minutes. From source to destination, it will only be 30 minutes when the environment move happens. Remember, You cannot change localization, which is obvious, as your regions and type of environment while doing the transfer. They will remain same and they cannot be changed during this operation. As I said, you'll have to reconfigure your your add-ins, external applications and setting after the tenant to tenant migration, and then external integration must have been updated. Remember, your user personalizations will be lost because they are very closely tied to your user, which is specific to that tenant. Hopefully, that kind of answers and explains how it is done. Thank you. Because of you, I also did it and experience it how it need to be done. If you have any other questions, feel free to add them into the comment section. I will try to record videos on those topics and let me know how you're going to utilize this feature. Do you think there is a need of it? Do you think it'll be a game changer for some of the customers who had this kind of request for a while? And just keep flowing your ideas. I always love your ideas, and that's the only reason why this channel exists, because you keep sending ideas. So, if, thank you from my side, and I'll see you soon on another video. Thank you.